What's up, YouTube fam? This your boy Graybeard. I know it's been a while, but I've been busy working, and I've been busy holding things down and trying to pay these bills. As you know, the economy is spinning out of control with high gas prices, high food. So you have to do what you got to do, because the more you work, sometimes the less time you have to make videos. Plus, my subscriber list is so small that it really don't matter. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something today that's been on my mind for a long time, and I'm sure it's on the minds of other people too. It's about the church and how it creates not only failed marriages, but how it promotes perversion in the church. My first point is the way it creates failed marriages is this: you go to a church, okay, you see married couples, you see the elderly couples, and it's mostly the elderly church women who are putting pressure on the young girls to get married, mostly the elderly men who are putting pressure on the young men to get married. And it's almost like now it's a sin to go to the church single. It's so much pressure involved to get married that sometimes your church elders will put pressure on you, and you will push yourself to find your Boaz or your Esther or whatever, and you end up in a bad marriage because it was a marriage you were not prepared for. You were simply worrying about your status. You were worried about how you look to other people. You were not supposed to go to church to worry about how you look to other people. You're supposed to go to church to find some kind of divine intervention for whatever is going on in your life. Find God, so to speak. And these people look at you like you're just a sinner, like you're trash because you're single. That doesn't make you trash because because you decide to stay single. That just means you're a person who doesn't want to be bothered or responsible for anyone else's feelings. That doesn't mean that the Lord don't love you too, because the Lord loves you too. It just goes to show you that these marriages are are meshed together. They're put together under pressure. You're under pressure already when you go, because you're one of the only single ones in there. You see these married couples, and I'd like to point out real quick that the marriages in the church are dwindling because of reasons that I'm sure other video YouTubers have explained to you. But the reason why people get into these bad marriages is simply is pressure. You're looking at these elders and they're married and they seem to be happy. A lot of them are happy what looks like on the surface, but underneath they're going through turmoil. They're going through hell. Why? Because somebody pressured them into marriage. So don't go to church letting anybody pressure you into doing something you don't want to do. You don't want to go in there and find the wrong mate. You definitely want to find somebody who you're compatible with. It doesn't have anything to do with being equally yoked. Matter of fact, I believe the more different you are, the more successful your marriage will be, because you have so much to learn from each other. So you should just go on your instinct and find a person, if you so desire, find a person that you're compatible with, because compatibility is the most important thing. You want them to have things in common with you, but you also want to be different so you two can constantly learn from each other. That's how I think that churches promote failed marriages. They promote failed marriages because they're pressuring you into getting married. Then you end up with someone who's you don't know all the skeletons in their closet. You don't know any of the skeletons in their closet, and they're just they come out as you get married, as you gradually get married. A lot of people in the church will promote a woman. They will push a woman to marry a man. Oh, he's a fine gentleman, got a good job, works here, works there, making all this money, and it's nice and tempting. She marries him and then finds out that there's a price to be paid with that money. Maybe an ass whooping or two or three or multiple. Then the woman ends up staying in that marriage for, 20, 25, 30 years, or pretty much the rest of her life, until death do they part. And when they find this out, now they're stuck, because then they get used and they get washed up, and they're no good for anybody else. So what the church has done has just put together a failed marriage. And I'm not talking about just one situation. I'm talking about dozens of situations. So if it's your desire to stay single, and it's your desire to wait and obtain a mate your way, I advise you to do so, because too many failed marriages are coming out of these churches. And too many of you elders, y'all need to quit trying to make young folks feel guilty because they're single. Now, me, I'm with somebody I'm compatible with. I did not meet her in the church. We were just compatible, and have so many similarities, but we also have our differences. Differences is not the end of a relationship. You can learn a lot from your differences. You can teach each other your differences, and you can learn and grow that way as well. It doesn't always have to be about you have to find somebody in the church. That's the thing that's going to make your marriage last forever, because church is starting to become the very thing that makes your that makes your marriage last at the least out of every reason that you could possibly get a divorce or get separated. Being in the church and finding a mate in the church are one of the more terrible experiences that I know that people have had, that I've witnessed for myself that people have had. So it's not necessary to find your soulmate in the church. Just find somebody you're compatible with and who you can learn from and grow from. And you elders, stop putting pressure on these young people. Stop making them feel like shit because they decide to be single. Stop making them feel guilty because they're single. Stop making them feel like they're a sinner because they decide to live a single life. That is their choice, and as long as they're honest with people they meet in their lives, that is their business to do as they please. Now, how the church, to me, not only promotes but encourages perversion is I'm finding more and more churches, they're having pastors sleeping with parishioners, male pastors sleeping with men and women, female pastors sleeping with men and women. And what do? What do most churches do when they find this out? Sweep it under the rug. No matter how many families get destroyed, no matter how many young children get destroyed, because a lot of that's going on too. You have adult male pastors fondling and touching and molesting the shit out of little boys, and the church is simply backing them up. They don't even want them removed from the pulpit anymore. They make excuses for it. Oh, it's time to pray. It's time to come together. Oh, the Lord gonna take care of the pat. Don't touch my anointed. All that kind of bullshit. Okay, we can go to church and judge each other for the way we dress. We can go to church and say, sister so-and-so, her heels are too high, her jeans are too tight, her stockings, she ain't dressed the right way, she look like a complete Jezebel. We can judge you based on your appearance, even though the Bible says, come as you are. We can judge people based on their appearance, but we cannot judge some of these people in power in the church for the acts of perversion. So, to me, you're not only promoting it, but you're defending it, and you are the cause of it. So we need to start making these people who are preaching to you accountable, because these predators are hiding in our churches. They're hiding in the churches. They hide behind religion. They hide behind the Lord. Oh, judge not lest ye be judged. I don't want to hear all that shit. Because even some of these pastors who molest little children, which to me, there's no excuse for anybody, but in the church, you have pastors who molest little children. And the parishioners, they're the first ones on the scene. They're the first ones saying, oh, I'm going to stand by a pastor. Oh, this is just the time to pray. Fuck the little kids that's going to be ruined for life. I mean, the hell with them. You're just worried about this pastor. You're worried about status. Status is the main thing that promotes perversion, and it promotes failed marriages. Status. People want to have that status. Oh, I got that dream husband. I got that dream wife. I got that. And they don't want to let that status go. They want to keep that status. It's all about status in the church. That's why so many people, including myself, have stopped going. Because church is where you find some of the worst people. Some of them, especially them evangelical churches, those people there are cold-hearted. They're judgmental. They're convinced they're the only one who's going to find any kind of paradise after life. And they're the main ones who will keep these perverts and these predators right behind the pulpit. You will be charged for a crime that Friday. They will still have you in the pulpit Sunday after they spend their hard-earned money to post his bail or her bail, because it's both now. It's mostly men, but you got some women perverts out there too, some female perverted pastors out there too. So I say, find your mate at your own discretion and your own conditions. And by no means keep a pastor in power when you find out that they're perverted, that they molest children, that they ruin these children's lives. Nobody seems to give a damn about the children after these children are ruined. They only care about if that pastor and his status is ruined. That's all I want to get on here and say, people. So till next time, this your boy Graybeard. I'm telling y'all, it's more and more of this going on. That's why more people leaving the church. And this is going on a lot in the black churches. You know, stop making excuses and get rid of these people. Stop putting pressure on these young folks and let them live their lives. Because in 2022, you can't bullshit these people like you used to bullshit us when we was coming up. Even though it didn't work on me, and thank God it didn't. So till next time, this your boy. I'ma holler at y'all. Peace.